Hello, comrades. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is my open letter to the Nigerian youth in care of Aishat Yesufu. My name is Moya Adeyemi, and I'm a member of the Nigerian Democratic Youth League, the NDYL. Who is this guy? Who am I? You may ask. I'm glad you asked. You see, I'm a nobody. I'm just like you. I'm a Nigerian citizen, or was a Nigerian citizen, a member of society, but now a citizen of a geographical location that used to be called Nigeria. You see, once upon a time, we lived in a country that had a flag, had a coat of arms, and stood for strong values and strong culture, and the happiest people in the world. The warmest hearts. Even despite all our challenges, we always had hope that things would surely get better. We strongly believed that our pains would not last forever, and at some point in our timeline, it got better, right? Sadly, this has not been the case. Over the past week, we have seen and witnessed things so unimaginable. You only see this type of stuff in horror movies with special effects. But sadly, this has been our reality. We all know the movement EndSARS, Abi. We all know it was a peaceful protest and borderline carnival things, ba. Most rally points had food, drinks, some even had shayo and loud. Scores and scores of peaceful yet frustrated, unemployed, leaderless, and I dare to say hopeless, or better yet, lost for hope adolescents and young adults trying to get their voices heard by a corrupt and tyrannical system of government they inherited from the previous generation that still bore grudges and scars from the last civil war in Nigeria. A generation paying for the sins of their fathers, but yet ungrudgingly decide to march peacefully in solidarity regardless of tribe, language, religion, or economic class. Just 3 days ago, the world witnessed one of the most horrendous events in this geographic location's history. A coordinated and preempted attack on unarmed, peaceful, courageous, protesting heroes of the land once known as Nigeria, to rain terror on the subliminal and subconscious minds of all Nigerian citizens who would later watch as the horrific event was aired on social media. We witnessed as sporadic gunshots riddled protesters who had risen their flags to show compliance and sang the national anthem to show patriotism. Their cries were silenced with even more gunshots as the armed men fired on and for an hour plus, but to those on ground seemed like an eternity. Multiple reports after the attack cite that bodies were carried from the scene in order to cover up the crimes against humanity that was carried out. I believe we all know what transpired after that, because video upon videos were posted on Twitter which painted a full picture, or a picture enough to show the victims and what they went through after the attack. Following the attacks, the governor of Lagos State had the audacity to release a statement that stated the attack was due to some uncontrollable circumstances, and that only minor injuries were received, and there was only one casualty thus far from the attack. This misrepresentation of the truth sparked public outrage among citizens of Lagos State and Nigeria as a whole. I strongly believe if the governor had decided to keep quiet rather than lie about the situation, Lagos would not and should not have experienced an aftermath that led to the destruction of property and mass loss of life. because the evidence was glaring and overwhelming. The people surely believed they were being taken for fools. Following the public outrage, the president of this geographic location decided, after being absent and unresponsive for over a week, to air a State of the Nation speech to the people. We all had high hopes for this speech, that some sense was going to be made out of the brutality that had transpired. This address was a poorly scripted, poorly edited, and woefully pre-recording of a man who showed absolutely no sympathy or empathy for the countless people who had lost their lives during what has now been labeled Black Tuesday or the Lekki Toll Gate Massacre 2010-20, a day that will never be forgotten in the lives of the old Republic of Nigeria. Unsurprisingly, the entire Senate, governors, statesmen, joint chiefs of staff were all in agreement with the dictator, as they all remained silent in attempt to keep their seats and positions of power, not to mention their salaries. This speech left the entire Nigeria speechless. Many have lost hope, and so many are planning to escape, because what this has shown is we do not have a president or a government. Nigerians are now asking themselves, how else do we get the attention of the government, which denies the shedding of blood, of innocent blood at that was captured by the victims who were on the scene? The leaders of this movement are either slowly backing out or are too heartbroken by the loss of so much in such a little time. By that I mean the leaders of the EndSARS movement. One thing is for sure, we can never win with more violence and bloodshed. Based on the events that transpired, the Nigerian government specializes in this type of gameplay. They will always win this way, as they are fully equipped, limitlessly funded, with high caliber guns, tanks and aircraft and missiles at their disposal, and will not hesitate to blow every citizen up. Don't get it twisted, people. We are playing a very dangerous game of chess with the Nigerian government, and they have just checked our king. To an amateur, it may seem like a checkmate, but it's not, because our queen is still on the chessboard. The wise move now would be to reposition the king or find a way to turn our next move into a counterattack. For the record, I would like to strongly condemn every single act of violence across the entire Nigeria. I apologize to all the citizens who have been affected by this in any way, shape or form. My deepest and most sincere condolences go out to everyone who has lost someone in this tragic turn of events. Believe you me, no organizer of the EndSARS movement would have wanted death and destruction to befall on anyone. The hoodlums who took over these peaceful protests were either paid or generally just airing out their frustrations based on the outcome of the things that have transpired this past 12 days of the protest. It was headed towards something like an African version of the Black Lives Matter protest done in the US, but given the kind of leaders and security forces we have who are grossly unenlightened, backward and barbaric, Nigeria is now bleeding and the cities are burning. My fellow comrades, we cannot back down now or concede defeat. This is simply not an option in any dimension of existence. To concede defeat will turn this government and others to come into a fascist dictatorial regime whose lubricant for movement in their engine is blood, sorrow, and tears. The biggest mistake this government made was to martyr our brothers and sisters, because by so doing, they have dug their own graves and have made their own caskets. They have only shown us that we, the youth, are a formidable force. We are even more patriotic than we even thought of ourselves. Our blood is on the flag, something no one in this current administration is ready to donate to even save a life of someone in the hospital. Our senators are overpaid and yet absolutely useless and powerless. Our governors are clueless and unenlightened with little or no integrity. Our civil servants are overworked and undercompensated. Our police are undertrained and are ill-equipped. Our army is a reckless war machine used to rain terror rather than encourage patriotism. And worst of all, we have a dead man as our president, who is surrounded by a cabal of mammon prophets and worshippers bent on harvesting souls for the kingdom of darkness through religious and tribalistic clashes. Poverty has been weaponized and used to the detriment of the once thriving middle class, where we all become crabs in a bucket, and those at the bottom pull those trying to get out into a state of perpetual poverty. Clearly, we live in this failed state, but we keeping on because that is the DNA of every Nigerian man and woman. It has now been proven that human life in Nigeria means absolutely nothing to our government or to the international community at large. No one is coming to our rescue. No one is coming to save us. We are on our own. The world leaders don't have much to gain from black sub-Saharan Africa, so as of now, it is not a priority. I'll tell you what matters to this government though: money. Now, this part of my letter is dedicated to Aishat Yesufu, Sheon Kuti, Reno Omokori, Falls the Bad Guy, Davido, Burna Boy, FK Abudu, the Feminist Coalition, Youth Democratic Party, Debo Macaroni, Banky W, and Pastor Paul Adefarasin. Also, all brand influencers, musicians, actors, sportsmen and women, public figures on social media, and all the youths of Nigeria. Please, we need to come together in solidarity under one banner and one tuned voice. One thing I can say is waiting for 2023 is not an option many Nigerians are willing to embark on. We need to strike while the iron is still hot. For all our fallen comrades who died mercilessly for our freedom from oppression. This part of the revolution will not require a drop of blood to be needlessly shed or require any loss of life. You see, ironically, the SARS officers were right about one thing. An iPhone in the hands of the youth is actually a weapon stronger than any gun, and a laptop is like an explosive device. We are the press phone generation, the Sorosuke generation, and this scares the living hell out of a generation who don't even know how to send an email or a WhatsApp message. A simple hashtag has the power, if not stronger, than an atomic bomb without shedding a drop of blood. What I propose the next move should be is, given the fact that we are in a toxic relationship with our government, a very abusive husband at that, who beats its spouse and kills his children. I am suggesting, ladies and gentlemen, youths of Nigeria, as at this 1st of November, that we carry out a 90-day civilian strike, which should start, as I said, on the 1st of November all the way to the 1st of February. This is similar to the silent treatment you would give your spouse in order to get their undivided attention. This is a form of reverse psychology. In order to sorosoke, we need to be silent. During this silent strike, there will be no going to work, no going to schools, no going to restaurants, malls, parties, no paying of taxes, no paying of bills, no use of cars, no buying of petrol from the Nigerian government's petrol stations or petrol stations that have affiliations to the Nigerian government. No use of public transports affiliated to the Nigerian government. Like I said, no buying of petrol from stations affiliated to the Nigerian government, like Dangote's affiliated petrol stations or $10 affiliated petrol stations. No construction. Basically, a complete shutdown of the entire Nigerian system, starting from the south, southwest. This will cripple the economy by withdrawing the consumers' propensity to spend. We are the ones who make the economy, and therefore we can cripple it if we want at any time we want. We need to put together, as number 2, we need to put together a team called the Nigerian Phoenix, comprising of lawyers, IT experts, media gurus, and celebrity personnel to place checks and balances on the current administration. Number 3, we need to launch an online campaign against the governor of Lagos State, the House of Senate, and the President, asking them for accountability for the victims of the Lagos massacre and the Lekki Tollgate massacre. Promote the Youth Democratic Party as the party of choice to represent the youth in 2023. No more APC, no more PDP, no more politicians from the old Nigerian Republic. Enough is enough. We don't want you guys anymore. You've done enough. Everybody above the age of 45 is not welcome into the Youth Democratic Party. We need new faces. We need new names. We need new and fresh ideas and new execution of these ideas. This, I believe, should be the next move on this chessboard. Any other suggestions will be gladly welcomed by any member of the youth. You can join the struggle and let your voice be heard at www.nigerresistance.org. I'll say it again, www.nigerresistance.org. On the Power Mic session, where you get your 2 minutes to speak your ideas without any form of oppression, without any coercive intent or anything of that nature. Finally, I thank you all very much for your time. I thank all the youth of the new Nigerian Republic for their patriotism, dedication, sacrifice, and tenacity towards a better, safer, and free Nigeria for all those who call this beautiful country home. May God bless the new Republic of Nigeria. Thank you so much. I am Moyo Adeyemi once again for the Nigerian Democratic Youth League, NDYL. Fellow comrades, if you feel this is not your fight and you would rather escape to some country in Europe or some place in America or somewhere in Asia or somewhere in Australia or somewhere down south in Africa, I have news for you. Just like me that left the country 17 years ago, you will only come back to meet it even worse than it was, and you'll be in exile for the rest of your life. This is our time. This is our season. God has awoken the youths of this country. He has given us a new direction and a new voice. It is only right that we make use of this opportunity. We are the ones who are going to fix this country. Nobody's going to do it for us. You see, I made a mistake and I ran for a very long time. And I came back only to meet nothing. A desolate land. A dry place filled with vultures and animals who call themselves politicians, governors, senators. Look at what is happening all around us. How long shall this go on? 60 years and we have nothing to show for it. My brothers and my sisters, comrades, this is the time to stand. This is the time to let your voice be heard. We condemn violence. Nobody's up for that, man. Nobody's up for bloodshed. That's the game of the politicians. They're ready to kill for those seats and kill for that salary. Let them have it. We want a better country. We want a better airport. We want a better port system. We want better education for our children. We want better salaries for our workers, our civil servants, our police officers. We want better living conditions and a better standard of life for everybody that's living in Nigeria. We want to be proud when we go out there and not be traveling across some desert to go now meet some water or some ocean so we can go get some menial job in some European country and be called nigger. You see, while on my exile, if I should call it, in Europe, I've been called so many things. While in Czech Republic, I was called Chenoshki. While in Cyprus, I was called Pushti Mavro. While in South Africa, I was called Kwere Kwere. Everywhere I go, I'm called nigger because I'm Nigerian and treated like a criminal. How long is this going to happen? How long is this going to take place? So run. Go ahead and run. If you think run is going to solve this problem, go ahead and just run. And don't come back. And when this country does get better, don't come asking for a job or a handout, because nobody's going to give you. Everybody's going to be like, where were you in the struggle? Where were you when Nigeria was bleeding and burning? I ran away for too long. I'm not going to make that mistake anymore. I'm back over here, and God has ordered my steps home. Nigerian youth, it's time to stand up. Don't be discouraged. Don't let fear grapple your heart. For to live is Christ and to die is gain. As Aishat Yesufu would say, all die na die. We don't see 99, why we go come fair 100, guy? No be today now. How far? How far are you willing to go?